You know, it's that time of year where we don't want to turn the oven on too much. So I have a great recipe. You can make a double batch, put it in your freezer, and then you have dessert that can last all summer long. This is one of my favorites if we're going to watch the fireworks. It's an orange buttermilk pound cake. I have leftover buttermilk from when I made the buttermilk onion rings a few weeks ago here. So today I'm going to bring the flavors of raspberries and blackberries and blueberries, which are just, the blueberries are so delicious this year. We're going to make a little compote with that, but you can certainly keep them whole as they are and do a dab of whipped cream. We're going to bring out the big mixer because we need to blend this, and it has to be methodical of how we're going to do it. We're going to make a little glaze as soon as they come out of the oven. Within 10 minutes, they're going to get glazed. That's going to keep moisture, and then another glaze on top. Stay with me throughout the other hour. It's orange buttermilk pound cake. Now I've already softened the butter. It's really important to soften it and mixed it with the sugar. So now we're going to add one egg at a time. And again, that's really important. It's going to get a little noisy, okay? But this is, I want to show you these different steps that we have. So once that starts to mix, now we're going to slowly add our flour. And we have our flour mixture with salt. Now we're going to go ahead and do, this is a half a teaspoon of baking soda and a half a teaspoon of baking powder. Now the thing about this is that you're going to say a half teaspoon, it's so going to work. But you also have to remember that it calls for coarse salt and like kosher salt, and usually recipes don't. So make sure, I usually use the Morton salt when I'm baking, but this is a really good one to use. Now we're going to do 3/4 of a cup of buttermilk. You have to let the buttermilk come up to room temperature. What happens is it almost thickens and expands. It's going to give you a better cake. So we have the buttermilk. Now we're going to do the same. Give it a little shake, and then I'm going to show you my simple flavor bomb. Okay, there we go. We're going to stop in between and scrape down the side. So I can turn this off now so you get the theory of what we're doing. The eggs are in there, the buttermilk is in there, the orange is in there. We're going to come back at break. I'm going to add the rest of the flour, and that's the first process. Now, I toyed whether I should tell you my secret bomb because sometimes it's hard to find and it sells out so easily, but I'm going to share it with you. It's Noosa blood orange yogurt, and I get it over at the Fresh Market. And I'm going to do about a half a container. And first of all, this is just, I think, the best yogurt in the world. I love this. But I was making this cake a few weeks ago, and I thought, I wonder what would happen if I added some blood orange yogurt. And you know what? It made it moister and just delicious. So we have that in it as well. Next thing we're going to do is add the orange zest when we come back. Orange zest of 6 oranges, which is really a lot. You got to get that flavor. So when we come back, we'll be ready to get them in the oven and then start making the glaze and the extra glaze. 2-layer glazes coming up in just a few minutes. So this will give you some extra muscle. It's trying to zest 6 oranges. Somebody asked me earlier, is there any machine that you have that you can do it with? And I said, no, but it's good to get back to basics. I never mind doing things like this because I know it's adding some really great flavor. So while I was on break, I finished up with the flour. We had the orange juice, the buttermilk in here. I added some vanilla extract. And now we need all this great orange zest. Oh my gosh. It is going to be delicious. If the recipe calls for 6, I add 7. Now, I have my mini pans. I've added that Noosa blood orange yogurt, which is my secret bomb, okay? So if you share the recipe, I'm just saying, you might hold back. In my little loaf pans that I prepared with spray Pam and a little flour, I'm going to go ahead and put these in. And then they're going to go directly in the oven, about 350 degrees. You know, it's a great time before you stop baking for the summer. Double check your temperatures and make sure that they're calibrated, because baking really is an art and you don't want it to run slow, okay? So there are 3 loaves that are ready to go. So now let's get ready for our first glaze. And look at me with my orange zest all over me. That's perfect. I'm going to brush it right in. I have 3/4 to a cup of sugar and a cup of orange juice. And we're going to go ahead and put this on at about medium-high temperature, and then we're going to lower it, okay? Just give it a jump start, and then we're going to lower it. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to talk you through my sauce. because what I do is I always save a beater that's like a whisk, but it fits in a small pot from an electric mixer. And that's my cooking tool. I made a little compote of blackberries and raspberries and some blueberries in there. Like I said, you can just use fresh berries if you want, but this is just such a great recipe. And again, the compote is so easy. You can make that the night before. You can even make this glaze that I'm cooking down the night before. Now, once the cakes come out of the oven, basically what you're going to do is you're going to put on a cooling rack for 10 minutes, okay? Then we're going to take this glaze and we're just going to pour it over the top and let it drizzle down. And then when we come back, I'm going to top it off with just confectionery sugar and just a tablespoon or so of orange juice, and we're ready to serve it. It is buttermilk orange pound cake, and you're going to love this recipe all summer long because you're going to make it once and it will last. Oh my gosh, I love this recipe, and I think you'll love it too. Well, it takes extra steps to make it really moist. Get that orange flavor from a lot of orange zest, and don't forget my flavor bomb. And if you did, you can watch the video on mysuncoast.com. Just click on recipes, and remember, we have a great catalog and directory of restaurants. Just click on them. Bring it down to the lower part and it will bring you right to their website, so you can find out about discount deals and all sorts of menus. Savor Sarasota, you're going to love it. Now, this pound cake is going to be so moist, and as you make it, when you freeze it, it tends to get even more moist in the freezer. So a little of our berry compote and it's going to be great. Back to you guys.